I believe in entertainment. I believe in sort of like showing the audience something big and delicious and terrifying, and that you sort of hook an audience and then you can make them think. And so it's a very beautiful, sensual, epic, like fantasy and illusion-filled set, but we're also saying something extremely dark with it. With Salomé and with every piece I ever look at, it's about sort of turning it around and over and seeing which facet of the piece catches the most light. And says the most, and is often the most critical of us at the moment, the political moment that we're living in right now. I think Salomé is a revolutionary, really, that it's not, there's the typical modus of presenting Salomé right now is to have her as a prepubescent girl. There's a lot of sort of examination of the sexual dynamic between her and Hérode, which is necessary in the piece, obviously, but it's important in our production that the Salomé sees the increasing soulless decadence of her parents' house. She's a woman that lives in a society where she understands what sex means. And sex and consumption and money and power have sort of developed into this sort of utterly disgusting mess at the top, and she sees it. And she sees the one way to sort of tear it down, the one thing that could actually destroy this, is if Herod is forced or has to kill the prophet. And she knows that the way to make that happen is to earn the leverage that the sex gets her. And so it's a very, very sophisticated, calculating attempt or decision to use the elements, the sort of ammunition that this society affords her in her position as a woman, as the daughter of this kingdom, and to use those things to tear it all the way down. It's not a biblical setting with us. We have chosen to take the points of the story that align with our society right now and sort of amplify them. There are definitely very clear impressions of the modern times in the piece. This party society that lives, this sort of decadent, degenerate perhaps, party society that owns the entire world at this point. They're dressed in sort of dilapidating late model couture. It's a sort of weird, manic mixture of styles that we recognize, and the idea is basically to say that like the value system that we have, that we've built through luxury, that we've built through certainly cash, power, has sort of turned into this swirling, illogical disaster that can only breed more destruction in itself. It's a reflection of our times. It's a reflection of sort of late stage capitalism, but it's also sensual. I wanted to make sure that the French public knows that like there is juiciness on this stage. The key action in the piece is taken. The sort of, generally speaking, the fact that she offers her body to the Tetrarch in order to get whatever she wants. It's a challenge. We have, I've been told, an absolutely spectacular Salomé that can fill this time, that can act. And also we have the possibilities of technology. Like we can use projections, we can use the technological possibilities that make it so it's not all about a soprano running around for 10 minutes removing pieces of clothing. It's going to be devastating and beautiful at the same time. The music is bloody and enormous, and it's sensual, and it's too much, and you're just bathing in this complex, delicious, challenging sound the entire time. And it's actually sometimes a challenge to sort of stop and say, this is the story and these are the figures, because the music sweeps you away like sort of this emotional tsunami. It's very overwhelming, the music. I love working with singers. Like I love singers. Like I was one. Sometimes I like get jealous of singers that they get to use their bodies and their magnificent voices to tell these stories. The general cast of Salomé is relatively small, but we've added a lot of extras because we need to sort of have the mass of people that explain the society that we're living in, and the over-the-topness and the decadence and the sort of decay that is in very, very active progress at that point. And so it's going to be a lot of work between the singers themselves, these extras that we have, and them interacting with the narrative structure that we set on them. The paintings that inspired us most, it's more autodix. It's more Max Ernst, these sort of like these depictions of Weimar era decadence, like a society that sort of bent in on itself because of a lack of attention to the values that can sustain a society. Our Salomé is a very, very strong, very direct, very revolutionary woman that is extremely set on tearing down a system that she finds absolutely reprehensible.